tech policing comes at a big cost, and a lot of that money is spent on something you'll never see. Tonight, WNBF Investigates is continuing to shed light on what is and is not working with body cameras in our police agencies. Investigative reporter Madison Martin is navigating the burden of cost as part of our In Focus series.
My purpose, is to be transparent and tell the whole story.
But being transparent costs money.
It's not cheap, and there are recurring costs.
The 2015 body camera law called for a fund safeguarded by the Department of Public Safety to help pay for this equipment. It's one thing to buy cameras, but Urban Institute researcher Bryce Peterson says the hours and hours of video captured every day, that all has to go somewhere.
The cost of video storage is the biggest cost in body camera. It's very expensive to store footage. A good body camera policy would mean that they're turning it on anytime they interact with a community member, which again is more and more and more footage.
And as 15th Circuit Solicitor Jimmy Richardson explained, in some cases, video has to be held onto for a long time.
Depending on what is being looked at, you may have to keep that stuff for 60, 70 years.
Over the years, the General Assembly has dedicated money into that pot that agencies apply for, but it's never been fully funded in one fell swoop. More than $15 million have been awarded to agencies all around the Palmetto State. But get this, the law says a state or local law enforcement agency is not required to implement the use of body-worn cameras until the agency has received full funding. USC law professor Seth Stoughton explained the loophole like this.
The South Carolina statute requires officers to wear body cameras. However, that's conditioned on the state legislature funding the acquisition of that equipment.
That hasn't stopped some agencies from taking the matter into their own hands and finding the funding from other sources. WNBF Investigates surveyed our local police departments in the Grand Strand and PD. Of the agencies that responded, the general consensus was they either bought equipment themselves and got reimbursed by the body cam fund, or used the grant money and supplemented it with city or county budgets. Some agencies told us they were able to get all the funding they needed from the state. The Florence County Sheriff's Office is quite possibly one of the last large agencies just now having the means to pay for the equipment. Sheriff TJ Joy was sworn into his position at the beginning of this year.
When I took office, there was a lot of things that I was like, wow, I'm disappointed in things that we haven't accomplished yet.
The office couldn't afford the tech until just months ago. The money came from that Department of Public Safety fund, along with help from state legislators. This
day and age, we have to have, no question. I remember the time when we had to have in-car camera. It was a process that took time, and it's time for us to move forward, and we've done just that.
Here's what needs to change in Stoughton's eyes. The General Assembly should put enough money into the body camera fund. But he also wishes that dollars would be dedicated towards getting the state ahead once again, just like it was when South Carolina became the first in the country to call for body cameras everywhere.
My wish list really only has two pieces: fund body-worn cameras and require the development of substantive technical guidance that agencies can get a lot of meaningful use out of as they're adopting a body-worn camera system. That's it.
Solicitor Richardson said 5 years with this law in our state hasn't been a long time, but things have changed and improvements could always be made. He says it may be time to revisit the expense and the methods with how long video is stored. Reporting for WNBF Investigates, I'm Madison Martin.